Lamidi Apapa is back. He's back with his shenanigans and his wahala. Lamidi Apapa takes over Labour Party affairs from Abure after Supreme Court ruling calls for National Working Committee meeting.
So guys, Lamidi Apapa has always been referred to a mortuary attendant, that he works in a mortuary. And the question remains, how did he just come up with this idea to come take over the leadership of the Labour Party? Somebody who has not even been seen around for some time now. How did he just wake up from his sleep and declared himself as the chairman of the Labour Party? Even the anchor on TVC was telling him that he disappeared. Where has he been to? And why is he just reappearing? Take a look at this.
At the beginning of your comments, I learned that you said I've disappeared for some time.
Okay.
I didn't disappear. We'll be going from one court to the other.
So guys, in case you don't know, Lamidi Apapa came up to say that because the court sacked Abure, that he's one of the oldest and the leadership of the party must fall on him. He's trying to take that position by himself, or not that the party allowed him. So guys, these people are just planting all kinds of seed in the Labour Party. But guess what? That Ahmed and Peter Obi gave Nigerians the assurance, that the Labour Party under the female chairmanship, is the one Nigerians should look to. Not all this one, whether be it from Abure, whether be it from Apapa. So guys, I'm going to allow you to take a look at what Aisha Yusufu has got to say about all this. Honestly, they are just trying to distract us, but Peter Obi and Dati Ahmed addressed Nigerians, especially those who believe in their cause, that he should get rid because a very strong movement is coming up. Now let me allow you to take a look at what Aisha Yusufu has got to say about Lamidi Apapa, who just came out from nowhere trying to declare himself the chairman of the Labour Party. Anyway, we've passed this stage because Peter Obi and Dati Ahmed are already leading the way for a new Labour Party. Now take a look at this.
Lamidi Apapa is back. He's back with his shenanigans and his wahala. Lamidi Apapa takes over Labour Party affairs from Abure after Supreme Court ruling calls for National Working Committee meeting. Apapa made the announcement during a press conference on Wednesday referencing the April 4, 2025 Supreme Court ruling. Lamidi Apapa has declared that he has assumed leadership of the Labour Party following the Supreme Court ruling that ousted Julius Abure as the national chairman of the opposition party. Apapa made the announcement during a press conference on Wednesday referencing the April 4, 2025 Supreme Court ruling. According to Apapa, the ruling nullified Abure's leadership. The 5-member panel of the Supreme Court overturned the Court of Appeal's decision in Abuja, which had previously recognized Abure as the party's national chairman. He also stated that the party's National Working Committee, as consistent in 2022, will convene on Monday, April 14, 2025. He said, following the dismissal of the cross appeal filed by the ousted former national chairman, Barrister Julius Abure, also by the Supreme Court on 4th April 2025, what this means is that all actions and decisions taken by Julius Abure since 4th April 2023 are null and void. Following the decision of the Supreme Court on setting aside all judgments that recognize the leadership of Julius Abure as national chairman, I, Alhaji Bashiru Lamidi Apapa, the most senior deputy national and in consonance with our party constitution, Article 14, subsection 2AB, hereby take over the running of the affairs of our great party with effect from today, Wednesday, the 9th day of April 2025, in an active capacity, and Alhaji Farouk Umar Ibrahim as National Secretary. Not be small matter. My leadership hereby calls on all members of the Labour Party that the National Working Committee of our party as of 2022 will meet next week Monday, 14th April 2025, to announce our plans, which will include zoning and position of national chairman to the north and national secretary to the south. He has even planned all the plannables. According to Apapa, his leadership will resuscitate the moribund board of trustees and make it functional. He said, the National Working Committee members listed below are hereby put on notice about the National Working Committee meeting coming up on Monday next week, where we will immediately set in motion the conduct of world congresses, local government congresses, state congresses, and national convention, where every member of our party shall have the right to participate, provided you are a financial member. So let me just stop here and just say something that is very critical. When this whole crisis was going on with Julius Abure, he went to meet Peter Obi, and he said that he was going to organize the convention. And Peter Obi said, how are you organizing convention when you've not done congresses? You start for congresses. You can't just come and go and say, oh, you want to do a convention. It's from the world congresses, state congresses, at that level. Then you now reach the convention. You now do the convention that will bring in the national, this thing. He did not hear. And then he went ahead. They set up that, convention that they wanted to. Initially, they wanted to do it in Abia State. It was in Abia State. It wasn't before they went to Nnewi and did it there. It was in Abia State they wanted to do it. Everything was going on. Peter Obi had to now call Governor Alex and was like saying to him, like, no, see this thing. This is not the proper way of doing it. One of the things I will give Mr. Peter Obi anytime, any day. Look, the thing is that because he doesn't come out to talk, these are not things that he's going to come out and he'll be the one talking about this. The people say, oh, he's not doing anything. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. He's doing a lot. And he does it, you understand, as in follow the process. So he spoke to Alex, Governor Alex Oti, and like, see. That one I said, okay, no, they can't do that convention in Abia. That he's not going to put his support. They now took it to Nnewi to go and do it. But you see, when people are talking, because they say, oh, that is Peter Obi that is supporting Abure, blah, 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 blah. No, Peter Obi did not support Abure. What he insisted on was that let the right thing be done. The other one, I know that there was a time when some people came, oh, they wanted to, come in, remove Abure. That was even before all this crisis started. And it was like, you can't just come in like that and say you're just going to remove someone. Follow the process the way, is going to be done. I just needed to just talk, put that in context for people to really know what it is that, what it is that have been happening. Let me see. Okay, what it is that happening. But anyway, I see this one. Oh, he has taken, Apapa now has taken, hey. So they're just going to be putting a lot of wahala and crisis. The time that they'll be using to plan and do the things to remove Tinubu will not be wasted fighting Apapa and Abure here. So the Apapa now, he has gone back to 2022. So what Apapa is saying here is that he doesn't recognize them as Governor Alex Oti and Co. is the National Working Committee of 2022 that he's just interested in. And then these are the people that he's invited, he even mentioned their name. Deputy National Chairman NLC, Mr. Ladi Ilya. Deputy National Chairman TUC, Dr. Ayo Olorunfemi. National Secretary Alhaji Umar Farouk Ibrahim. National Legal Advisor Barrister Oyeleka Akingbade. National Publicity Secretary Dr. Abayomi Arambambi. National Treasurer and Mrs. Oluchi Okpara, National Youth Leader. Okay, no, I think Oluchi Okpara is the National Treasurer. This Oluchi, the other, and the National Youth Leader. The Supreme Court, in its recent judgment, said in the instant case, the court below having found that the first responder Labour Party may relief was relief number 5, which was predicated on the leadership of the first respondent and thus not justiciable, strayed beyond the jurisdiction into the realm where even angels dread to tread, to pronounce Barrister Julius Abure as the national chairman of the first respondent. Then it goes on to say, on and on and on. I'm just like, you understand? Dear Nigerians, this politics, if we don't make it our business, they will make making our lives miserable their business.
Well, the Supreme Court judgment does not need to elicit any controversy anymore. In a simple man's understanding of issues, there was an appeal against two judgments of the trial court and the Court of Appeal, and that appeal was brought by Senator nnamdi Usman, appealing as chairman, National Caretaker Committee of the Labour Party, alongside with the secretary, Senator Darlington Wokocha, as secretary of that committee. They are the appellants. So they came to the Court of Appeal against the judgment that recognized Julius Abure as national chairman of Labour Party. And the appeal succeeded. And the cross appeal filed by Julius Abure was dismissed by the Supreme Court. So looking at this ordinary presentation, you will know that somebody won and somebody lost. There's no way somebody who lost an appeal will come back and say, nothing happened to me. I'm still where I am.
With all due respect, Senator, if you boil down what the Supreme Court said,
yes,
the court said that you have to use your own internal mechanism to sort out the problem.
Yes.
That's really what it said when you boil it down. So the question is, which one of the two groups is ascendant? Is it nnamdi Usman or Julius Abure?
Of course, it should be nnamdi Usman and his group and her group. Before this matter went to court, you have to understand that INEC had taken a position on the leadership of Labour Party, that the tenure of office of Abure and his led executive had expired and ceased to deal with them as officers of Labour Party.
Yeah, but INEC also had to obey the subsisting court ruling when it came up.
Yes, now the court, because they started recognizing Julius Abure as national chairman with his team based on court order. And those court orders, the trial court and the Court of Appeal, have been set aside. So the orders the two courts made directing INEC to recognize Abure as national chairman of Labour Party have been set aside by the Supreme Court. What it means is that we have now been returned to the position where INEC rightly determined as the monitor and regulator of political parties.
Yeah, but the problem,
their tenure has ceased to exist.
The problem,
and the party had taken some steps to fill the vacuum.
Yeah, but who is the party? That's the question, because there are two sides to this, and they are both interpreting that Supreme Court judgment differently. I mean, Ms. Usman says it's in her favor. Mr. Abure says it's in his favor. Do you think, I mean, is it necessary to approach the court for clearer interpretation?
I mean, if you read the concluding pages of this judgment,
and I have looked,
you have it. Yes, you'll see where the Supreme Court summarized their findings on the appeal by saying that the order made by the two courts below, directing that Julius Abure should be recognized as the national chairman of Labour Party, is hereby set aside. It means that he should no longer be recognized as the chairman of Labour Party.
Yeah, but why does the court then say that you have to use your internal mechanisms to sort out whatever problems you've got?
No, that is the natural thing.
The decision...
it is the natural thing.
Yeah, but the decision it made was that the appeals court does not have the jurisdictional power to decide the case.
Prior to the matter coming to the Supreme Court, Abure was recognized as national chairman of Labour Party by the orders made by the two courts below. Before then, he was not recognized as chairman of the party because his tenure has expired. He went to court. He was the one who went to court. And the court found in his favor, the trial court and the Court of Appeal. On further appeal by nnamdi Usman and the secretary on behalf of the National Caretaker Committee, the Supreme Court set aside the order made in his favor. He filed a cross appeal. The Supreme Court dismissed his cross appeal.
I understand.
How can you now come and begin to say that the state of affairs still remain the same?
Well, but that's what the judgment said.
No, it didn't say so.
It didn't say the state of affairs. It said you needed to use your own internal mechanisms to
that's what we have done. We have filled the vacuum by creating the National Caretaker Committee, because we are human beings. Nature abhors vacuum.
Sure.
When INEC rightly determined that his tenure and his colleagues have expired, the party will not lie like that.
Well, let me put it another way.
So the members of the party came together and created
some members of the party, because there's still a group. I mean, I'll give you an example. Mr. Abure, for example, I mean, he still controls your secretariat. He's the one. I mean, you can't even go to your secretariat.
No, you can't say that.
He's the one who
we are law-abiding. No, you see, we are law-abiding people.
I understand.
Don't jump into such conclusions. Let me tell you, Charles. No, let me tell you, Charles.
Your secretariat.
No.
He gives his speeches from there.
We are not people who are disobeying orders of court. We were in the process of taking the secretariat, and they ran to the court and got an order that INEC should recognize him. INEC restored recognition to him. We stayed away and went on appeal. Now that the Supreme Court has said that the recognition as chairman of the party was wrong and set it aside, we will move in and continue to operate.
Right.
Yes,
okay.
because
we'll watch how that goes. But why do you think, Senator Ume, that Mr. Abure is so adamant in this position, which is clearly disruptive to the Labour Party?
He is the one that will answer that question. One, he refused to leave when his tenure expired. And the Supreme Court admonished him, without mentioning his name. He said, any officer of the party whose tenure expires should be humble enough to leave. So he's not humble, he doesn't want to leave. And the party cannot keep him when he failed to do what he ought to do. Assuming he wanted to continue in office, he knew what he would have done, because he entered into a settlement directed by INEC. The parties feuding at that time submitted themselves to alternative dispute resolution in INEC. And there it was agreed that Abure should be allowed. It's not today that they've been dragging him. Like, he should be allowed to continue as chairman. At that time, he was fighting with members of the NLC, who were statutory NEC members in the party. So as a way of allowing them participate in the 2023 general elections, a settlement was midwifed by INEC in the Alternative Dispute Resolution Department, where it was agreed by the parties that Abure should continue as chairman, and after 1 year, he will conduct ward congresses, local government congresses, state congresses, and then all-inclusive national convention within 1 year. Have you seen it? And he signed the agreement with his secretary, Farouk Omar. And this settlement was taken to the Federal High Court, presided over by Justice Gabriel Kolawole, and it was admitted as a consent judgment between the parties. Since that time till today, Abure has not conducted any ward congress, no local government congress, no state congress. And he jumped in to say he has conducted national convention to return himself and his cronies back to office. That's a breach of the agreement.
Right.
It's a breach of the agreement.
Right.
And because of that, he made the mistake. When he wanted to do this, you know, I was former national chairman of ABGA for 10 years.
Yes, you were.
So I advised them that you cannot hold a convention without building from the bottom to the top. You must put ward structures in leadership, local government structures in leadership, state structures in leadership. Then these people will now arrive at the final state convention and elect the national officers. Right. It's not a rocket science.
I have to
They refused to do all that. Right. And wanted to foist themselves on the party. That's what the Supreme Court told them.
Right.
If your tenure expires and you fail to do the right thing to renew your leadership, you humbly bow out. They failed to do that,
right,
and they want to continue.
Well, in spite of all these things you said, the lower courts agreed with him, and you know, it was at the Supreme Court where the issue has become, well, it's still, I mean, it's a bit
Don't be confused about the issue of jurisdiction.
It's a bit muddled.
The issue of jurisdiction is far back. In 1983,
I understand
that internal affairs of political parties are not justiciable. It's not a new thing.
Right.
Do you understand?
But let me ask you this, because we're almost out of time, and I really apologize because you should have had more time.
No problem.
What happens next?
What happens
less than a
next
minute.
is that, if you're no longer recognized by the Independent National Electoral Commission, who will give you the authority to...
Has the Electoral Commission said they no longer recognize it?
The Supreme Court has said so.
What have you heard from the Electoral Commission?
Listen, INEC obeyed the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal in recognizing him. After they refused to recognize him, he went to court. Now, the Supreme Court has now set aside those orders made against INEC to recognize him as national chairman of the Labour Party.
Okay.
Why will INEC not obey it? I'm sure within the next few hours, they will remove his name in the website. Because they cannot disobey the Supreme Court after obeying the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal.
Well, we'll wait
the Supreme Court is the final court.
See how things
and there is no court in Nigeria that will order that Julius Abure should be recognized as chairman of the party when Supreme Court has said so.
We'll wait and see what happens.
As to what happens next.
I apologize that we took
I have
up
5 minutes more.
No, you haven't got 5 minutes. The other program has to come in
let me
here.
tell you. As to what happens next, the National Caretaker Committee will now begin to do those things Abure refused to do.
I can see
they will
how
conduct the congresses.
I can see how you're bullied
at the world level, at the world level, at the local government, at the state, and then convention. And we said that Abure is qualified to come and contest.
Yes, you have
if he felt that he has run the party very well. In today's meeting, he was asked to come and contest if he so wishes. Let him come. Let's do the right thing.
Okay.
Let's go by the Constitution and then do what we need to do.
I think you've made that point. I want to thank you very much indeed.
So guys, you can see what these people are doing. Their plan is just to scatter the party. But guess what? Nigerians, we just need to be focused. Ignore the Apapa faction. Ignore the Abure's faction. Let's follow Peter Obi and Dati Ahmed. These are the two people whom we, the obedient family, we believe that any party they go to, we are following them there. We are voting for them because these are people we can trust and we can, rely on. So for all this noise coming from Apapa, Lamidi, coming from Abure, we don't even need to be distracted because guess what? These noise are there to distract us. We don't need that distraction. We don't need it. The question everybody should be asking him or herself is, has Abure not enjoyed enough? What is it that he's so tied to this position that he doesn't want to leave it for a moment? Your tenure has expired. The court has sacked you. You say you don't want to leave because of even if it's the money, even if it's all the allegations, the corruption allegations that are around him, if really they are true, has Abure not eaten enough? Is it not time for him to just allow this party to be built on trust and, accountability, those values that Peter Obi, Alex Otti, and other party leadership believe in? Now, the leadership of this party is going to the north. Is it not something Abure should appreciate, that it has been in the south all this while? Some people will call it, they want to do it Igbo party. Peter Obi wants to take over. Now, they've given it to a northern woman to manage. How come Abure cannot humble himself to say, okay, at least I've served for some years, I'm going to join you people, let's build a stronger party? Peter Obi even said Abure was invited to the gathering they had, but he refused to come. Peter Obi is that one gentleman that you always like to work with. He doesn't like to intimidate people. He doesn't like to ignore people. He doesn't like to step on people. He likes to carry people along. So even with this gathering they had, they invited all those supporting Abure. But guess what? They've now gone to the court to go give them the CTC outcome of the judgment that came from the court so that INEC will see it with their koro eyes and be able to remove Abure's name from their website, because on their website Abure's name is still there as the chairman, but with a question mark on it. On the website it has a question mark that it is the court that allowed him to be named. Now that the court has sacked him, they've now gone to the court to tell INEC that court has sacked this man. Adjust what you have on your website. So this is just all we need. And guess what? Peter Obi and Dati Ahmed, they've come up on board. They say Nigeria expects a very stronger movement. APC has no hope, no plan for the nation. In short, it's going to be very hot. You know, it's going to be hot in the positive aspect, because Peter Obi and that are not violent people. But what I'm trying to say is that Nigerians have totally lost hope in this government. Whether you have the APC, you have the PDP, if you are sincere to yourself, you will know that these people have no leadership quality to lead Nigeria. So everybody is being enjoying to follow Peter Obi, Dati Ahmed, and let's move to that new Nigeria we all have always dreamed of. Let me know your thought on this in the comment section below. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Please give this video a like so that YouTube can recommend it to others, and drop your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you.